I have a beautiful success story that demonstrates what it truly means to have free will. And come to think about it, I don't ever think we've talked about free will on my channel before, but I'm so excited to. And this client and I have been working together for a month already, and we're going to be working together for another month. But she's already had massive shifts in her life. She's such a powerful creator. And ever since she really understood the concept of what it truly means to have free will, she's just been on a roll ever since. So I'm excited to share this with you because it really is around SP. And I know a lot of people want to know how to manifest their SP back into their life, but it's so much greater than just SP. She really has done a complete 180 in her mindset when it comes to reality creation. So this client and I, we just had our last session for the first month this past weekend. And the biggest lesson she took away from us working together was understanding what free will truly means. And she said, when I signed up for coaching with you, I knew it was the right thing to do as I've been watching your channel since you first started. And I really wanted my SP back. It had been 5 months since us breaking up. And he moved out of our place because he said that I was being too needy and too clingy and trying to force us back together. And once he moved out, I felt like my world shattered, like I was losing everything and I really could not focus. The one thing that really brought me back to center was my sister ended up moving to the city where I lived, and she moved in with me. So I took this as a sign to really get closer to my sister, but also to get some coaching to support me with understanding reality creation on a deeper level. And one of the things that you told me the first week that we were working together, because you guys, we talked a lot that first week, she was just really in her head, in her emotions, thinking that the circumstances were so solid and that there was no way out of it. And she was just really, really emotional about everything. And she couldn't figure out how to move on with her life, right? And the thing she said that really helped her shift her perspective, not just with SP, but with everything, was she said, when you said that being with him is a choice, that I literally need to make being with him a choice because I was actually thinking of being with him from a need. I needed things to be the way they were before. I needed us to have this relationship. I just needed, and I didn't consider that actually to be with him or not is a choice. And once I understood that, everything changed. So, really, you guys, what does free will really mean, you guys? Free will means to choose out of the infinite potential as I am. But when you are needing something and wanting something to be a certain way, needing your SP, thinking that it has to be him, her, or these circumstances need to be a certain way in order for me to feel complete, that implies unfulfillment, right? But when you're choosing, it is the choice to have your SP or not. We think that this is all that there ever is, and we don't make this person a choice, right? So that is relinquishing your power to circumstances. If you think that it's a need, that I have to have them, it has to be this certain way, you're not realizing that they are already within you, that you are already whole and complete. So all of your desires are already within you. So it's already fulfilled. So there's no need in this, right? So, understand this, you guys. Needing and wanting things to be a certain way. And we've talked about this in my Illusion of Needs video, which I will link down below in the description box. But if you need and want things to be a certain way, this comes from holding on to circumstances, holding on to this one potential reality, this one section in time, trying to rearrange those undesired circumstances or circumstances that you find that you no longer want, and you're trying to just rearrange it, trying to make it fit into the way that you prefer, thinking that you need to be there in those circumstances. What I always talk about, making yourself small inside of these circumstances and then trying to manifest your way out, right? So thinking that you need to be there in these circumstances and that it's not a choice. You give all of your power away to the 3D, your fleeting emotions, your the changing circumstances, and you're focused in, like I said, on this one potential, this only one timeline, this only one section of timeline, giving up your power. And she thought that he was outside of her and that she needed him in order to feel complete, needed him in order to feel that she was source, not knowing that her desire was already within her, that they were already together within her, right? But when you make your SP a choice, when you make anything that you desire a choice and not a need, now you have moved into the center of your world. You've moved into the sea of possibilities, and it moves you out into the infinite, right? So the infinite possibilities. So what it is you're trading in this one limited perception or perspective to see that there is infinite perceptions or perspectives, including him, including of you, including of him. And now when you're in this space, you're choosing from the I am, you're choosing from the unlimited. And so there's no needs here because you are choosing from fulfillment. So all of your desires are within you, including him. So you're not choosing from lack. And something that she said was, I could see how I fit myself into this story, and I've tried to change it to be back to the way it was before. But that timeline was already set. And when you said that he's actually a choice to be with, then that really clicked for me as source. I realized that I was source and that I had all my desires within me already. So there was no way that I could not have him. He was already within me. Nothing that is truly loved is ever lost. Even if it appeared that he left, he actually never left. I could choose infinite versions of me and who I desired to be. And somehow, some way, I knew that we would be together because we were already together within me. And so I really love that because what it did was it really dissolved all of her fears around, it softened her around moving out from that one story into the sea of possibilities and seeing that the world was her oyster instead of trying to stay in that one limited potential and then try to fight her way out of that. So she released her grip on that reality, and now she could see more perspective and have a different perception, right? And so what this really was she got on with her life, right? She stopped grabbing onto this one story, this one potential, and even this one person, and really softened herself around needing anything to be different from this particular story or reality, and went into the sea of possibilities, which was welcoming life, welcoming the fullness of I am as it was presented to her, right? And she realized that she and her sister were close now. They could actually have a good relationship, that they could become closer than ever before since she was moving in with her. And she actually started to focus on that. So they started going out and they started talking more, staying up late like they were when they were kids. And she started focusing on her work more. And she actually decided that she would go to school in the summer, and so she planned her first international trip to Spain. All of these things because she could see that the world was her oyster instead of staying in this one potential, that she was I am, that she was source. And she did all this knowing that she was fulfilled and that she would be with her SP, right? And so her sister ended up inviting her into her friend group as well. And she ended up making more friends, having more game nights, just actually living life. And she said that she was getting back to herself, feeling fulfilled, feeling that her life was full. And that's the thing, you guys. I think a lot of us, when we want just to be with our SP and needing certain things, we shy away from having such a full life of love, whether it is a full life in career, a full life with traveling, full life with having friends, seeing the fulfillment in all things. So once you give up that one tiny perspective, it's like you gain everything. You start to see that you actually have everything, right? And so what was she really doing, you guys? She was experiencing the fullness of I am, knowing that she's already chosen to be with him and that it was done, that it was actually fulfilled. And the second week, he actually called her. So this actually moved really fast after that first week. Once it clicked, when she said, you know what, I could actually make him a choice instead of a need. So once that happened, he actually ended up calling her that second week to see if he would be able to pick up his coat from her place. And once he came over, he ended up staying for dinner with her and her sister. She said there were laughs and it was just like old times, like him and her sister got along. It was no attachments on need, whether they should be together or not. And he asked if he could call her more. And she said, sure. She said they've been speaking ever since. The whole rest of the month, they had been speaking on the phone, and he was being flirtatious and he's showing support for her to go back to school. And she said that she's excited to see what happens in her life because she knows that she's source and that she's unlimited, and she's the happiest that she's been. So there were more manifestations that opened up from that and from us working together. So we're also working together next month, and I'm excited to see what happens. But she said she said that I feel like I can finally breathe again because life is open, and she knows that he wants to get back together with her, but she isn't focused on the how because she know that it's done, because she knows that he's within her, that it's already fulfilled, it's already done. So there's no need to force it or try to figure it out. She knows that they're back together. She knows he's calling her, he's pursuing her, he's reaching out more than she's reaching out. He's doing all the things she wanted him to do before. He's asking to hang out. He's asking to do all these stuff. He's chasing her instead of her trying to chase him and to make things fit into that one reality. She moved. She moved into her center and her world opened up, right? So you have to understand, you guys, that free will is the right to choose from the one mind, from I am, knowing that all of your desires are fulfilled. And in that, there is no need. So when you let go of that one limited perspective, you step into the whole of who you are, where nothing is lacking. So you don't need to add anything else to I am because you know that you have it all. You don't need to add anything. There's nothing, no needs to add to for you to feel complete because you already are. So you have to understand it's a choice to have your specific person or a choice to not have them when you're choosing from free will. It's a choice to have the specific money you want or not, if you want success or not, if you want love or not. But if you look to where you are and in this limited perspective or section of time and think that this is all that there is, this is all that I have in here, and I need this in order to make me feel complete. I need to add this to this reality. I need to add this to this undesired circumstance. So now I'll feel complete. Especially if you're in an undesired circumstance, you think, okay, well, maybe I'll add SP to this so now I can feel complete. Maybe I'll add money so I can feel complete within this one limited section of time, right? So you're trying to add something to just one limited perspective, right? Instead of moving out into the center where it's all given, right? So again, if you look at where you are in this limited perspective or section of time and think that this is all that I have and I need this in order to make me feel complete, you give your attention and your autonomy to a changing form that can actually never give you anything. Remember, the 3D cannot give you anything. So really, you guys, come out into the sea of possibilities. Like, the water is great here. We have different versions of you to choose from, different perspectives from you to see everything through. But you are choosing, knowing that if you ask from I am, from fulfillment, it's already given. But if you are in that limited, tiny perspective, thinking that you need something to add to this limited perspective in order to feel that you are complete, then you are always choosing from unfulfillment, from lack. It's not in this one tiny perspective where you'll find everything. You have to move out of this one perspective into the wholeness of who you are, knowing that this limited tiny perspective, you staying there, is actually a choice too, amongst many other realities that you can enter. All right. So once she understood that that's really what it means to have free will, is she wasn't making him a choice. She was making him a need. She was making that dependent on if she was going to be source or not. So once she realized that you know what? I don't have to have him, or I can have him. Either way, it's a choice. As source, I get to choose. I get to choose. There's no needs actually here because I can choose, knowing from fulfillment that I'm choosing from fulfillment. So she's not in a rush to figure out the house. She already knows they're together, and she already sees that her life is more full. And so I'm so excited for her. And that really happened fast once it clicked for her. So really, you guys, I hope that you understand that this is what free will is your ability to choose from the infinite, not from inside of a story thinking you need to add something to it in order to make yourself complete. All right. So once again, you guys, I love you so much. I hope that you have the most amazing week. Once again, imagination is on your side and I am too. Bye.